Right. Boom, there he is, guys. The one and only Stress. Look at that. No transition this time. We can just go right into the interview. Pretty cool. How's it going, Stress?
It's going fine. What about you?
Bad, man. I'm going to turn you up a little bit because I think you got the mask on, so it
Oh
might be
yeah.
a little tough to hear. That should be better. Guys, let me know on the chat if everything sounds good. But yeah, the one and only Stress is here, guys. He, if you didn't know, was the #1 ranked user towards the end, at least, on 1.0 for gaming. He beat out Awake Forever at the end there. But Stress, welcome, man. How's it? Are you excited to be here today?
Yeah. Honestly, I've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah? Oh, snap. You
Yeah.
prepared some special responses just for today?
Have
Blinded
I
by the light. All right, let's get started, shall we? Yeah, so guys, again, this is super interactive. If you want to ask anything to Stress, first of all, do you just want to talk about like how you joined the community and a little bit about your own background?
Well, so the way I found about the community is through you because you you just sent me a message about something that was cool and happening, and so I decided to join. And been there since like third week or something. I wasn't super active in the beginning because I had other stuff to worry about, but since that got taken care of, now I'm basically always on the. I was always on the old site, not as much on the new one because the new one is a lot more just like a forum type, and as well, I just find it cool that there's a bunch of people from it's mostly US right now, well NA, but we're starting to get a lot of people away. We've got someone from France that asked a question yesterday. We've got people from India that like the Lenovo products a lot. So I just find it it's pretty neat to say the least.
Nice. Do you remember when you joined exactly? I'm not sure. Was it like in January or were you a little bit later?
I think it was in January.
Okay.
At the end, if I remember, it was the 21st, but I'm not too sure about that.
Okay. Well, you've been in for a while either way, though. On the 1.0 especially. I'm curious because you've been on this new experience for a little while now. Like, what do you think of the new site compared to the previous one in generally?
I like the new site. It first of all, it's loads better. Like it just works nice, and I like the fact that you can post something and then get more detailed discussions than what we could before on the chat. But on the same time, I miss the chat because it was very on certain days. Well, specifically when when someone was streaming, it could get very interactive. And we're kind of missing that part now because the chat function was completely taken out. But overall, I still feel like it's an upgrade, like massively.
Awesome. That's good to hear. And I agree. Like the chat experience, I think is one of the biggest things that we lost probably with the move, just due to some things. But I don't know. Part of it for sure is we're trying to use Discord a bit more. Do you feel like that replaces it, or would you still want to chat on the actual site as well? And for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, we were on a different version of the community site, and we just moved in the last couple of weeks to a much more full-featured platform. But I'm interested, especially on Stress's side, because he was the most active user on the last side. So it's obviously he knows a lot about the transition.
Well, how would I say? Discord is you can use Discord as a replacement, but it's not as it's not as inclusive as just being on the website itself and interacting with people that are from that are invested in the community. Discord, a lot of people I know. There's a bunch of people anywhere in any community that join the Discord, the community Discord, and then they mute it and then they just put it in the folder and never to be seen again ever.
That's fair, yeah. Because there's so many, right? Like it's hard to keep track. Yeah.
Yeah, I capped out my Discord servers like a while ago. So every time I get invited to a new server, I have to decide like which one do I remove, if I even want to remove some.
Wow. Sure. Okay, so you'd want to see the live chat come back in some capacity, though. That's good feedback, I think. And I think you're not the only one that feels that way based on what the chat's saying in general, with Fidget and Jay kind of agreeing with you right there. Speaking of, you've been a part of at least, I think, just one event so far, maybe a couple, because you're signed up for upcoming ones as well. Do you want to talk about the Silver Snipers thing?
Silver Snipers?
Hey, he's got that shirt, guys. He got that shirt for being in the event, which is pretty cool.
I've got the, yeah. Honestly, I thought it was really cool. Arguably the best event we've had so far. I didn't care too much about, winning or anything. I just thought it was awesome to see people that are literally 3 times my age, as old as my grandmother, just playing games, being chill people. Just goes to show that gaming isn't just for the young generation. It's whoever wants to get in, whoever wants to feel included into anything. You can just hop on, launch like CS:GO, especially since now that computing has gotten a lot more how to say, accessible, affordable, yada yada.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry as much about oh, I need this part. Like it used to be, oh, you had a Pentium 4, you had to run this board, you had to run this type of RAM. Make sure you've got something good that can keep the heat under. And then when they transition to Core 2 Duo, yada yada.
Right.
But honestly, Silver Snipers, they were really cool people. I saw their interviews. I looked at some of them. I watched some of them play live on their stream. They're just very nice. They're very nice people, and honestly, I wish we had something more events like that where it's just we meet people from around the world, around the community, and we just have fun.
Yeah, that's a good feedback too. Especially, I think that one was cool because it was not just in the U.S. but based out of the U.K. or sorry, just the EU in general.
Yeah, Denmark.
And yeah. So there were multiple kind of areas you could be part of it with. I think I agree with you. It'd be cool to do more of that stuff since we are in so many countries now. I think the language stuff can be tricky sometimes, but I agree. It was a cool moment, and I hope we can do more stuff like that in the future too. So I'm glad you're a part of that. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, we did an event where we took the Silver Snipers, which are our Lenovo sponsored team of CS:GO players, but they're all 65-year-old or older on the team, and we pit them against our community users and get to sign up. Stress was one of the people on that team, along with Jay and Fidget here in the chat. So they got to compete, and that's why he's got the shirt now, is because he was part of the event. It was really fun, really popular. We streamed it right here, and hopefully we can do more stuff like that in the future too. So that's the plan. So what about you for your own gaming background, man? How'd you kind of get into gaming? Like, do you remember your first game you played?
All right. Full disclosure, first game that I ever played is it was not a self-coded game. It was a game coded by my aunt. And it was on our very old Toshiba laptop that ran Windows 95. And the first console, in quotation marks, console that I owned was a Game Boy Color. It was the yellow one. I still own it with Pokemon Yellow. And that's the first game I ever owned.
Okay.
From there, I haven't stopped playing games. I played anything from, Amiga era games to the newest and the greatest.
Gotcha. So you've been a PC gamer since birth, though, basically, since you started.
Well, I started on PC, but I couldn't own a PC. My first gaming PC that I ever owned, really, I was 16 years old, and technically it's not really a gaming PC. It's more like an office PC that was gifted to me, and I added a GPU. But from when I was born to around 16, I was playing on consoles. I still have my GameCube. I still have my PS2. Well, the ones here, not the ones from France, because that's where I used to live. I still have my Game Boy. I have multiple Game Boys because I got a bunch of them when I started working on IBM because I wanted to just mess around, see what I could make with them. Uh,
Those are
but
valuable. They're valuable now. I think. Try and get those. Probably you could sell them for a good bit.
I wouldn't sell them. They're all about it's all about nostalgia.
Collect them all.
Pokemon, but it's for Game Boys. Gotta collect them all.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and so I did play a bunch of console games, older console games like Dragon Ball Z Super Butoden, which basically no one knows about.
I don't know about
Uh,
that one for sure.
yeah, it's a Super Nintendo Dragon Ball Z game. It's a fighting game that was
Hmm.
absolutely awful. It was god awful. I loved it.
Hey,
I played it on one of my mother's friends' PC because they had an emulator back when emulating was pretty rare,
huh?
and that's how I got into that's what started me into all the what can you do with a computer stuff that I now do like on a daily basis.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, you've definitely been part of PC gaming for a while then, though. Like you
Yeah,
started that way and didn't really leave. It sounds like most part.
yeah. Uh, I
Dip
I
around a
wouldn't
little
say
bit.
I wouldn't yeah, well I wouldn't say I left it, but I just couldn't afford it.
Yeah, that's
All my
fair.
friends had PCs, so I could like hang around there and mess around. My good friend Alex, he had like the best PC I've known forever.
Hmm.
Uh, Mainly because his parents are absolutely filthy rich, and so Crisis 2, max settings back when the games came out. He had that.
That's awesome.
Daisy and everything. I couldn't even hope to achieve like a stable single digit FPS with what I had, which was a very old Lenovo laptop, which is the first laptop I've
Hey.
owned. It's a it's a Pentium mobile CPU.
Oh
Actually,
wow.
well, it's Pentium architecture, but it's called a Centrino, which is single core. It's got 512 megabytes of RAM that I personally upgraded.
Does it still work?
And yeah, it still works. I have it right
Hey.
here. I think I could literally just take it out.
Hey, they're built to last. I'll tell you what. Those
Yeah,
Lenovo
they
laptops.
are. I used it. I still use it frequently. It's just like a Linux distro. All right,
Guys, this was not
so
a planned ad, by the way. I promise.
all right here. I mean, obviously, because this is definitely not supported anymore.
Yeah, you can't get this one unfortunately on the site. I guarantee this one's sold out. That's
Let's,
awesome though. That's awesome.
all right,
So
wait,
in
is
Lenovo
that?
gaming long before we had a gaming line, basically.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
awesome.
even. Is it open? Wait, how do I open this over? Oh, yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. I saw the
Here it
gist
is,
of it. Yeah.
boys.
Oh, there it is. Boom. Probably with the
The
old Lenovo logo on there too. The
yeah, that's
vintage.
yeah.
Awesome, man.
It doesn't have the little knob. It is missing a few keys, but it's a Lenovo laptop.
Hey, it still runs. That's more than most laptops can say that age. Cool. So I installed a couple games today per your request, but I'm curious, what games are you mostly into right now? Like, what are your biggest played games right now?
Right now, Apex because Battle Pass is an absolute grind fest. Um,
Are you in Apex? I thought you were kind of getting frustrated with Apex.
I'm not getting frustrated with Apex. I am frustrated with the amount of time it takes to level.
That's fair.
It's kind of how would I say? It's very time consuming when
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah, that's
I've
fair.
got I've got contracts to do. I've got other games to play. I've got Tarkov to work on, which is another game I play a lot.
I'm very busy with other games, right?
Well, that yeah, and just getting some sort of income
Right.
once in a while.
Do you have a favorite game right now? Like, is it Apex or is it something else?
Right now, that's an excellent question to which I do not have an answer.
Okay, you like
There's
the
a bunch of
rotation.
games. Yeah, there's a bunch of games that I play with friends a lot, which is Hunt and Due Process. Sergeant Ballgazers in chat is one of them. Uh, they're kind of alternative type of games that are the formula's been tested before and they bring something new to it. hunt is like it's how to say, it's 12 people max in a session, and
Mhm.
you're in teams of 2 or 3. You fight out for bounties and bounty tokens, and then you want to exfil with whatever you had. And it's fun. It's all old style weaponry, so there's no like M4. There's no like, oh, I've got an FAL with tricked out sights and everything. No, no. You
Right.
you want something automatic? Here, have this gun that has an absolute buttload of recoil.
Huh.
It's all about landing your shots being precise and using the least amount of ammo like possible per kill, because you never know when you're gonna have to shoot zombies because sometimes they swarm you. There's melee
Gotcha.
options as well. It's really fun. And Due Process is a Siege and CS:GO type hybrid in
Okay.
voxel.
Yeah, I haven't heard of
Uh,
that one, but it sounds like you're playing a lot of it.
yeah, I've played something like 20 hours maybe so far, so not too much.
Is it new?
I've got it's it it's gone on early access not too long ago.
Okay.
But it was you could buy it from them directly, devs directly for about a year, and
Gotcha.
so I've been there for a while.
But it's kind of mirrors Siege a little bit. Is it?
Yeah,
Is it? Is it safe to say Siege is your most played game? Is that true?
uh, it is not my most played game,
Oh.
if you would be surprised. My most played game, no one would ever guess, but it is Dark Souls 1 on
Ooh.
Xbox 360, on which I have at least 4,000 hours.
Wow. So more than Dota, more than
I've
everything
played
else
I
too.
I have played that more than Dota and Siege combined.
I thought it was gonna be Dota 2 as well, Jay. I really thought it was. That's crazy, man. And that one's just single player, right? Like there's no multiplayer aspect to it.
Well, in Dark Souls there is. I
Okay.
didn't get I didn't get a whole lot of multiplayer experience because you had to pay for it. You had to pay
Right.
for gold. I didn't have it for most of the time that I played it. I just really enjoy Dark Souls a lot. The lore, the way there's exposition and everything,
Mm-hmm.
which there isn't any. If you want to figure out the lore, you gotta read item descriptions. You gotta infer from what PNCs are telling you. You've got to figure out who goes where and who's okay. So this is the Gwyn is Lord of Sunlight, Lord of the Way of White. But then who's next? Who's okay? This is Sun, and then it goes very deep. There's an excellent video from the YouTube channel Hawkshaw, which is the entire Dark Souls 1 timeline. It's about an hour long. Uh, but honestly, anyone who's interested in Dark Souls lore or any sort of like game lore and how to do it properly should be watching that video. It is amazing.
So is that your favorite game of all time? If you had to pick one.
All time, probably Dark Souls 1.
Okay, that's fair. And just the Dark Souls one. Like, how do you feel about the sequels in general?
Dark Souls 2 was fun for PvP. It wasn't super good for the rest, unless you're running mods. Like, what was it? I think it was Awakened. The Awakened mod makes it pretty fun. Problem is that it only works on the original version of Dark Souls 2 and not Scholar of First Sin. So if you want to run it, you need to find some way to get the original version. And Dark Souls 3, I feel like they missed the mark um, quite heavily. The fun part of Dark Souls 1, the strongest part of Dark Souls 1 is before you get the Lord Vessel and you can teleport around bonfires. Because it turns it into a sort of Metroidvania game where you can go anywhere at first, but if you're not strong enough or not good enough, you're going to get killed. I know of everyone that's ever played Dark Souls 1, I know everyone tried the skeletons first. They all got killed because skeletons in Dark Souls are not the regular skeletons in games. They will two-shot you if you're just starting off the game. But a veteran player like myself and basically anyone who streams the game will know that if you go through this graveyard, you can go into the catacombs, and then if you can go into the catacombs, you can get the scythe, fire scythe, +5 upgrade, easy game, easy life. And then
Got it
you've
all
yeah,
mastered.
you've basically got an easy way to level for the game.
Hmm.
SOCOM 2, I've played. Wasn't my type of game. Stress.
Well, guys, again, this is super interactive. So if you have more questions about Dark Souls or other stuff during the interview, feel free to drop it in, and I'll definitely read out any questions that I see. What do you think about? So we had PS5 and the new Xbox stuff come out this week. Are you excited for that at all? Or are you? I know you've been on PC for a while. What do you think?
Alright, so Video streamed Demon Souls yesterday for about 4 hours. I watched the entire thing. It is. I am unironically thinking about getting some
Ooh,
way of getting a PS5 to play the Demon Souls remake because it looks amazing.
is that only on PS5?
Only on PS5.
Oh man,
There's no PC version that is announced. There's no like port or anything so far. Demon Souls is like Bloodborne. It is a PlayStation, like it's a Sony exclusive. It's not just like PlayStation. So
Mm.
if Sony agrees to it, they can port. But some reason I highly doubt it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
mainly because it's gonna lower interest
Well,
and
you're the case example, right? I mean, you're thinking about getting a PS5 only because of that game. So why would they put it on PC? Because
yeah,
then you're
that's the
not going to
whole.
buy a
That's
PS5.
yeah. Then
Fair.
again, secondhand. So I'll just wait a bit.
That's fair. That's fair. There's a question from McCurdy who says, "What was one game that was hyped that you didn't enjoy? Like, or I guess that you were hyped for, ended up not liking them."
Um, I don't get. All right. Textbook answer: Fallout 4.
Okay, good one. Good one.
Fallout 4 was huge disappointment
Hmm.
for me because um, I've played all the other Fallout games. Fallout 2 is the best Fallout game there ever was. And the reason for that is that it's got both interesting gameplay and interesting story elements. Fallout 4 had interesting-ish gameplay. It was more like a shooter, less of an RPG, but it
Mm-hmm.
had almost no story elements. It was very like streamlined, and so I just didn't find it as fun and or
Gotcha.
as immersive. Okay, Fallout 76, I am not touching that ever.
That's a whole different like there's Fallout 4 and then there's Fallout 76, which we don't talk about, right?
I like everyone that I spoke to knew that 76 was going to be awful because Bethesda has a mystery of reusing game engines, and considering that Gamebryo or a Creation Engine wasn't exactly made for a multiplayer co-op sort of game. I kind
That's
of knew it was
fair.
gonna break. Outer Worlds. I've played Outer Worlds. It is enjoyable.
Hmm.
It's not on the same level as Fallout 2.
Yeah.
I, I would say. I still prefer Fallout 2 over it.
And I haven't tried that, but I heard good things about it. But yeah, if it's copying Fallout, it can't be as good as the originals, I would think.
Well, it
Um,
could.
it could. Yeah,
Dis-
I guess there's some example.
Disco
But
Elysium is like a Fallout-ish. Well, it's Fallout-style sort of game.
mm-hmm.
It goes way deeper into customization. I I loved it. It was a great game. I couldn't buy it, so I had someone game share on Steam. But it was an amazing game. I would say it's as good as Fallout 2 when it comes to story and gameplay and story intertwining and creating an interesting experience.
Mm.
Problem is that it's not that known because it got a bit of press from the begin. How to say at the beginning of the of its release, but
Yeah, at
then
launch.
it just dropped off, and it was kind of sad to see.
I think like some people said it should have been Game of the Year or Outer Worlds should have been. Sorry, but I don't think I ended up getting that. There was a question from I don't know. Have you ever played Time Splitters? This is a random question, but Elko was talking about Time Splitters. Ever played that one?
Uh, Time
I
Splitters. I
think it was
think
on GameCube.
I'm pretty sure I have, but there's a bunch of games that are time something ers,
That's true.
uh, or time split or time what was it, time break, time whatever. There's a bunch of games that start with time that I've played that honestly at this point I don't remember which ones are which.
That's fair. Yeah, I played. This is so random, but I just saw him talking about Time Splitters, and the second one was really fun, and I agree that needs a remake for sure. Elko, that's super underrated game people don't know about. Question from McCurdy as well, who said, "Do you think there's a mainstream future for VR? How do you think the gaming community will evolve? Have you played VR much?"
I've played VR, not a whole lot, because I had an Index for a bit, and then I sold it because rent went up. um,
Do you
how
feel
to
like
say?
it's going to catch on mainstream at some point soon, or is it still too far away?
I would. We need ARM or ARM. Anyone who knows, they're the leading like designer architecture for small chips, like in your phone, yada yada, something like that. We need them to make something that is a lot more powerful than what we have right now. The main problem with VR is that it requires space and it requires a pretty strong computer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, those are two things that are definitely not mainstream. uh,
True.
as long the Quest 2 from Oculus was wireless, which was
Mm-hmm.
great because then it didn't require a whole as much nearly as much space as the first or most VR headsets, but it still required a pretty strong computer.
Yeah.
But
Do you
there is a future. Yeah.
How close do you think that is? Like, do you feel like it's in the next 5 years, 10 years, further out? If you
From
had to
uh,
guess.
from from insider information, I'd say we're definitely looking at 8 to 10 years.
Got,
Uh,
got the hookups, huh?
I mean, I worked at
Yeah.
IBM. I've got some pretty good sources, but we're probably looking at around 8 to 10 years where it becomes affordable for mainstream. 5 years, I'd say it becomes. It's in 5 years. It's definitely going to be. How would I say? Affordable enough
Mm-hmm.
for it to have like a clear cut market. Because right now, obviously, it's not. There aren't enough people buying VR games to
Right.
sustain just like a company that only makes that. The reason
Yeah.
why Valve could make Half-Life Alyx is because they have cash cows like CS:GO and Dota.
That's fair. Yeah, I feel like the games piece is one of the things too. And I've talked about this before, but I feel like we still haven't had that game that's like the wildfire game that makes the kind of like you felt about Dark or Demon Souls, right? Like that game, oh, I have to get VR because either like everyone's playing this or it's so good that I have to play it. And I know like Half-Life Alyx is really good, but I didn't see that same feeling of people like going out to buy a headset just for this game on like a widespread scale. I don't know. Are there any games that you've played that you think are like they're there already, or would you agree?
On VR, on Alex is definitely the best VR game there is so far. Um, I wouldn't say it's good enough to drive engagement for people to just buy a VR headset and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if we get something like the Dark Souls of VR games, then that's definitely gonna increase engagement. If we increase engagement, then people are definitely gonna make more games, or they're going to attempt to make more games,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then that'll force ARM and other companies to try and develop something that's stronger and cheaper.
True. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for like the Pokemon Go movement where it's just like this again, kind of across everywhere. Everyone's just crazy about this game for a sec. Hopefully that'll come soon. I think that'll be a huge moment when that does hit. All right, so let's keep moving on here. So I guess like you're kind of interested in the console, but you're not totally sure yet on the PS5. I guess we'll have to see. You are a streamer though as well. Do you want to talk a little about your own stream and kind of how you started and what kind of stuff you do stream?
Um, oh, I just started streaming because I wanted to hit affiliate so that I could get my own emotes that I could use in other people's streams. Because I'm like that. That was the only reason why I even started
I did not
streaming.
know that.
um, so yeah, I haven't streamed in a bit, in like a week or something, because I've been busy doing other things. But I stream mostly FPSs, bit of MOBAs, uh, but I'll stream basically anything that I'm playing. Last stream was Resident Evil 5 because a friend of mine got it for me, and we just went through the entire campaign. Uh,
So you just kind of stream casually whenever you want to, basically.
yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not a pro streamer or anything. Uh, by far. How would I say? I stream to have fun, and if someone comes into the chat and wants to hang out or anything, I'm always open for it.